We are on, I think we're on, and unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we are just single streaming today because for some reason, my internet is not working. Listen, it's working for you guys on TikTok, but it's not working on my MacBook for some reason. Right, let me just run a diagnostics, guys, okay? Listen, the news of the day, all the mainstream media are talking about it. Lots of people who have no idea how... Basically, guys, okay, right now in the United Kingdom, we're like headless chickens at the moment in the United Kingdom. Nobody knows what's coming. People are looking and thinking about things that may or may not happen to the United Kingdom. People are talking about all sorts of crazy stuff. Guys, listen, in this live stream this morning, I want to kind of manage everybody's expectations about what a wartime Britain would look like. And I can pretty much say that in one sentence, guys, okay? Boredom, all right? Boredom. Contrary to popular belief, people in wartime... Hang on, guys, let me just click some buttons. People in wartime scenarios, guys, okay? It's not like this massive, exciting... a lot of the time in conflict, it is a lot of boredom, a lot of sitting around, a lot of waiting, a lot of not doing anything. So let's just consider the only thing that we have to look at to try and... the only thing that we have to look at the moment, guys, hang on, I'm just trying to... Right, yesterday my TikTok was struggling. Now my MacBook's struggling for some reason. Look, we're just going to leave that. We are single streaming today, guys, okay? But let's look back at the... I want to look back and think about... Can you guys remember the crazy times of 2019, 2020 when we all had to stay 6 feet apart and do hands, nose and face, wear the masks and stuff? It was boring. It was, wasn't it? It was like the best of times and the worst of times, and, people were waiting to get out of it, but then when they got out of it, like, honestly, guys, we look back now and we say, you know what, I would love another lockdown. I would genuinely, guys, I would love another lockdown. But this is what we would look, these are the types of things that is more likely to happen, and unfortunately, guys, all right, when we all see these World War II films and, about the Blitz in the United Kingdom, that was a very small portion, guys, okay? Most of this most of wartime activity for the civil defence, it's rationing, it's working, it's producing stuff for the military-industrial complex. So we are going to be talking about that, guys, okay? Yes, there is a threat from foreign nations. Yes, we do have sleeper cells, I would speculate. We do have sleeper cells operating in the United Kingdom. We do have pretend sleeper cells that are operating in the United Kingdom as well. And all these things are true. But I think for the vast majority of people, guys, okay, it's going to be relatively boring. Right, listen, so we've got ministers now have identified food delivery firms, and they're going to be, ministers are now basically going to be going to these food delivery firms, I think Deliveroo, like Eats or something, Just Eats, and they're going to be questioning them about the use of illegal workers. Now, the reason I'm bringing this to everybody's forefront at the moment is I don't think this would have happened without... I genuinely don't, I don't know of many mainstream media news outlets that have been going into these, these hotels and filming and showing what's happening. And I genuinely think, guys, this is you can basically see now that spreading the word and spreading awareness, it does have, it is genuinely having an effect, guys, okay? Because what we're seeing now is, when people bring things out to the open, the government have to respond. And, whether that's the dodging of train fares in London Underground, or whether it's this, guys, okay, whereby the illegal workers are allegedly working for food delivery companies. You're seeing this now being investigated, so it does look like the ministers are taking some action. Now, obviously, it'll take a long time. It'll cost us a lot of money. And at the end, guys, okay, what may happen is the ministers meet to food delivery firms. What may actually happen is there's a report, and the ministers may say, well, actually, yeah, we're not giving these migrants, you know what, guys? I'm throwing it out there. I bet that's what happens. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me, right, if this happens. And listen, we are in 2025 now, and all sorts of crazy stuff happens. Tell me how, guys, listen, in the chat, tell me how likely or unlikely you think this scenario is, right? So in the mainstream media today, I think it's today, yeah, the 24th of June, on the mainstream media, 24th of June, it's saying ministers to meet food delivery firms over reports of illegal workers. So how likely do you think this is, guys? Okay, after the government meet with the minister, meet with these food delivery companies, how likely do you think it is that they come out and then they say, well, actually, yeah, we know a lot of the people who come here illegally, we know they're working, but the reason they're working is because we don't give them enough money. So what we should do is we should give them more money. Like, how likely do you think that is? I wouldn't even say that's 50-50. In my opinion now, that's like 60-40 for that actually happening. And it wouldn't surprise me one little bit. Silence! Thank you for subscribing, Silence. Thank you so much for subscribing. And everybody that subscribed as well, guys, okay? Silence, I hope you think you are... I'm sorry, I hope you think... I would like to think, Silence, that you are going to be a contributor to this channel. Putting some good comments down there, letting us know what's happening around the United Kingdom or wherever you are, Silence. Do you know what? I do love the sound of silence. Right, I'm just going to close that down now, guys. I'm going to close that computer down because it's not working. We are single streaming today, guys. We are single streaming because for whatever reason, the internet's not working on my MacBook, so we are just single streaming. But don't worry, because I will download this video and then upload that video to YouTube, guys, okay? What else have we got? We've got the United... We are going to keep coming back to this, guys, okay? The UK should actively prepare for war on British soil. That is going to be a big thing, guys, okay? Moving forwards, what's going to happen is this is going to be then disseminated down to ministers. That's going to go down to local council. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you lived through 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, you will see that these people at local council level, now I'm talking like, if you're not from the United Kingdom, local council would be like local government. These people at local government have absolutely no idea what to do. They're like headless chickens. They've never really had a job. They've never really had a job where they've got to do stuff, and they're in government. Okay, so taking from what we know of the crazy times of 2020, 2020 to 2023, I'd say. Local governments don't know what they're doing, so they're going to bring in draconian measures. And once you give people, you give people a little bit of power, then all of a sudden they become experts. I can remember going into, what was it? I think it was the Range or something. It was a store basically, and there was a woman, and all of a sudden, this woman was the world's foremost expert on biological weapons. Straight away, she was the world's most. She knew everything. The woman behind the checkout, I think her name was Karen. She knew everything on biological weapons. She did. She knew everything, and she was dictating to people. Can you imagine if things like rationing come out? If things like water rationing come out? Like these people, and I've always said it, guys. It's not that. It's the. How do I put this? It's the people who follow orders unobjectively. And of course, you have to do what's good for the greater good. But we will have in the United Kingdom a massive amount of people who are just, following orders blindly. And we know this happens because it happened in 2019, 2020 and 2021. We've got the Ukraine war and NATO summit. So Zelensky's seeking for Western help as the situation in Ukraine deteriorates. He's always looking for help, isn't he, Zelensky? But he's started to wear a suit now. I don't know how I feel about that, guys. I genuinely don't know how I feel about that. And then I think kind of the main news coming out of the Middle East at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, is Iran scraps cooperation with nuclear watchdog. So now we've got this very peculiar situation, guys, in the Middle East. We've got this situation, and did you see the video that Donald Trump just dropped with all the B-2 bombers, and he's going bum 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 Iran, like he is literally trolling Iran now, guys. He's trolling Iran while he's saying he wants peace. But Iran is scrapping this cooperation now with a nuclear watchdog. So whereas before there was nuclear watchdogs and there was nuclear inspectors allowed to go into Iran and have a look at stuff, right now those inspectors have been banned. So what do we think's happening? What do we think's happening there, guys? Do we think they're trying to step up their production? Do we think they're trying to get a nuclear weapon? Do we think they're trying to buy one or get gifted one off the Pakistanis or the Russians? You know, so I would say there's a high likelihood of that. Now, there's conflicting reports, ladies and gentlemen, of whether these airstrikes that went into Iran, there's conflicting reports of whether those airstrikes were actually successful or not. I'm still 50-50, guys. I don't know. The first thing I said initially is we need to wait for independent verification. There's people coming out and saying that they've not been totally destroyed. There's people saying they have been totally destroyed. I think the truth would be somewhere in the middle. Right, guys, let me come up and get the comments. Let me jump up and get these comments. Good morning, everyone. Listen, guys, we are single streaming again. I can't help myself, can I? Let me open my computer up again. The internet's gone totally off on my other computer, so I don't know what that is. Have I clicked a button or something? I don't think there's a button. I think it just comes on. I know on some computers there's a... No, there's no button on that. But anyway, listen, we will just continue. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close that and say it's closed. Caster's joining, Caps Lock, Cassie, lots of people joining. Listen, ladies and Miss Wendy, Susu, Joe Masepo, Cauliflower's here. Hello, Cauliflower. Raccoons is here as well. Morning, Jodie Lee. Morning, Teresa. Morning, Four Paws. Morning, Zoe. Morning, Witchy Lab. Miss Roberts, share the live. Yeah, guys, can we do that thing? I guess we're on now. Can we do that? Listen, also, I dropped maybe it's something I did on YouTube, I don't know. Listen, guys, I dropped a video earlier on today on YouTube. In fact, you know what? That could be the case. Let me close that down. I dropped a video earlier on YouTube, guys, and I was talking about the use of nuclear weapons, okay? Why I don't think it's going to happen. If you've not seen that, guys, go and check that. But, guys, listen, we are on. So can you do the things where you hit the follow button, the like, if you're watching later on YouTube, like hit the subscribe buttons down below and the bell notification. But anyway, guys, let's get on to these comments. Because I do want to keep focusing back to that, ladies and gentlemen. The United Kingdom is actively preparing for war. Now, I'm gonna lead with, we are actively preparing for war, and that information is going to get disseminated down to local council level, and I can guarantee, ladies and gentlemen, they have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about, guys, okay? So they are going to be unobjectively following orders like sheep, whatever those orders are. Right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Right, Debbie Doobs is saying, how are these people delivering food? What about insurances on these vehicles? That's a good question, actually, Debbie Doobs. I don't know how that... Well, they're on push bikes, aren't they? So do you need push bikes on a... do you need insurance on a push bike? But, guys, listen, it is out today. And if people... Like, this is... I think this is a direct result now. This is a direct result of, I think... citizen journalists, open source social media, social media of people going into these hotels and just seeing like not thousands, but like lots of Deliveroo bikes, lots of, Just Eats bikes, lots of these people who are blatantly working, blatantly not allowed to work, just flaunting the system. Now, what I think could happen on this, ladies and gentlemen, listen, and as wild as this sounds, and I know this is going to sound wild, ladies and gentlemen, but as wild as this sounds, all right, I think the government will speak to the Deliveroo companies and what have you, and then they will come back and they'll say, right, okay, well, what we need to do here is, because those migrants, we're not giving them enough money and they have to work, we're going to give them some more money. Honestly, guys, I genuinely see a path towards that, and the reason I'm saying that is because if you want to think about subversion, if you want to think about how you subvert a country, how you demoralize them, how you destabilize them, that would be more towards that destabilization. Can you imagine now, ladies and gentlemen, we have got a situation in the United Kingdom where there's less jobs, more people trying to apply for less jobs, inflation looking like, I think inflation's at 35 to 40%, guys. I'm not listening to what the government are saying. Like, can you imagine that situation when we're heading into the summer and then Rachel Reeves comes out and she says, and we will be increasing the amount of money for migrants. They will now be getting full, I don't know, more. We're going to double the money to migrants because we don't want them to work, so we're going to double the amount of money they get, and you don't want them in hotels, so we're going to put them in houses. We're listening, and we're going to do better. Like, can you imagine that, ladies and gentlemen? Can you imagine the actual scenario there? And if you understand that we're being pushed, we're being dictated, and all this sort of stuff is to just to drive people crazy. You're sat there, you're like, how is this happening to me? How is this happening to me? You're looking at Lucy Conley, and you're looking at Lucy Conley in jail for putting a tweet up, and then you're seeing all this stuff, and you're like, why is it happening to me? Please, somebody just make it stop. Anybody just make it stop. Just make it stop. And then you get a strong leader coming in, then we move into a totalitarian dictatorship. But anyway, guys, look, let me get down and get the comments. That was I'm sorry, guys, I do need to stop ranting a little bit. And Silence is saying, morning, Sean, and Silence is in the United Kingdom. Hello, Silence in the United Kingdom. Pix has subscribed as well. Hello, Pix, for subscribing for the first time. Pix, like Silence, I hope you're going to be a contributor to this channel, letting us know what's happening in your part of the world, wherever your part of the world may be. Debbie Doobs is saying Trump seems very pissed off. Oh, sorry, I dropped a P-bomb. How rude of me. Well, that's your fault, Debbie. That's your fault, Debbie. I'm putting 100% responsibility on that for you. Google is saying we will see if their nuclear plan is gone. Time will tell. Yes, it will. How involved in war will we be? Luxford. Right. So I will come on to this, guys. Okay. Once I've got all the comments, right, because mainstream in the United Kingdom, we're talking about Britain preparing for war. Prepare for war! I would, do you know what? I'm not even going to speculate, guys. I'm saying now, nobody in local council have any idea how to fight a war. Nobody in local council have any idea. They say they're woke. They say they're woke, but how can you be woke? How can you be woke? How can you understand? How can you be, how can you understand other cultures if you've never lived in those cultures? You've got Karen, Sue, Jane, John, Fred and Ralph, who are they're the local councillors. They're like the top headshot of the local councillors. They're like, they've never had a real job. All they've ever done is bureaucracy, and they're going to be the ones who are dictating how you live your lives, guys, okay? That is the way it's going, guys. That is the way it's going. I think we're going to have to do like a petition or something, really. I really do think that's going to have to happen, guys, okay? Because I'm really worried that these people in local council, they have no idea. They have no idea what's coming or how to mitigate these risks. Priv Caro is saying Zelensky should use the clothes he usually does. He is showing other countries to stand with the people. Yeah, so we're talking here about Zelensky now. He's wearing a suit. I don't know how I feel about it, guys. I genuinely don't know how I feel about it. I think, and from my time in the military as well, one of the things, if you make a mistake, own it. If you make a mistake, just go with it. Do you know what? I'm on a range. I'm doing my tactics. I'm like, right, we're going to go right flanking, loads of smoke, throw the smoke to the left. All right, I've gone wrong. So what? Just go with it. Go with it. Say, you know what? I don't wear a suit. Deal with it. But now he's conforming. I don't know how I feel with that, guys. He's going back over to the United States. I don't know, guys. I genuinely don't know how I am with that. Yes, of course, he wants, people are going to be saying, Zelensky, you're going to get more from the United States if you wear a suit, if it looks like you're conceding to them. But ultimately, I think the United States are going to pull funding from the United States. Good morning. Was just watching your interesting video. Yeah, so I dropped a video, guys, earlier on YouTube. it's a bit wild, all right? It's a bit wild. In that video, I talk about how I think, how I'm not convinced, basically, that nuclear weapons. I'm not convinced nuclear weapons are going to be used, guys. I'm not convinced. Paul Poops is saying, nothing to stop these Uber dingers spike. Oh, listen, Paul Poops. Wow. Do you know what, Paul? That needs a comment. That needs a video on its own, Paul. I didn't even think about that, yeah. Like, Paul Poops is saying, nothing to stop these, you know, these people who are delivering your food? You know, like, when you, like, look, I know people like a takeaway. We do as well. But Paul Poops is saying here, nothing to stop these Uber drivers spiking people's food. So, I don't know, guys. Do we think that's a thing? Could that happen? Could that happen in the United Kingdom, whereby you deliver a pizza and all of a sudden there's something poured on that pizza? Like, how are those pizzas protected? Listen, Paul, yeah, there's absolutely nothing. And then, do you know what? There's nothing to stop the people in the shops from spiking it. Right, let me jump up and get these comments. Right, it's quite a lot of comments. Let me jump up. Yeah, nothing to stop that. Witchy Lab, I went for water yesterday. Apparently, they've not received deliveries. Right, so there we go, guys. Look, water everywhere. Look, we live in an island in the United Kingdom. We should not struggle for water because we live on an island. Because listen, guys, we have not had substantial rain where we are for, like, I want to say 4 months. I'm confident at saying 3 months, but, you know, I would, you know, I think 4 months we've not had substantial rain. Yes, we've had little showers for like a couple of minutes, but nothing substantial. Now, in the United Kingdom, we are having an exponential curve of new people coming to the United Kingdom now. However you guys want to think about that, that's totally up to you, but that is the reality. Those numbers don't lie. And all those new people that are coming to the United Kingdom, guess what? They're going to be drinking water, they're going to be having showers, they're going to be having baths, they're going to be using the toilet, they're going to be washing, they're going to be using water to cook with, water to wash with, maybe, you know, wash their clothes, maybe, you know, and all this stuff is added strain on those pumps, on those pipes, on those reservoirs. So even without nothing else, guys, okay, we have got added strain on our water system. And Witchy Lab here, let me pin that again. Witchy Lab here is saying she went for water yesterday. I'm assuming Witchy Lab is a woman. You look like a lovely lady, Witchy Lab. Witchy Lab is saying she went for water yesterday. Apparently, they have not received a delivery. So what that would say to me is more people are buying water, you know, and that's why they've not received the delivery. When demand is high, prices go up, guys. Okay, get yourselves water now, ladies and gentlemen. Work on 3 litres of water per person per day. Right now in Aldi, they're doing, do you know what, they're doing 5 litres of water, and it's like, I think it's like £1.20 or £1.25 or something. So 3 litres of water per person per day, like, work on one of those per day, guys, okay? It's £1.20. Can you imagine if the water supply goes off in your local area? Everybody's going to be running down to the supermarkets, guys. Everybody's going to be bulk buying that water. And then do you know who else is going to be bulk buying those waters? The local shops, local corner shops, people who are capitalists. They're going to be going, right, I can buy that water from the shop for £1.20. I know people are going to be paying whatever. I can sell that for £5, £10. You saw this happen with hand sanitizer, guys, okay? Don't say it didn't happen, and don't say I didn't warn you. Right, let me just again follow the live creator. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching and you've not done so already, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on TikTok, please hit the buttons, the like, the follow, the subscribe, whatever those buttons are to help this channel grow. Paul Poops is saying, oh, hang on, let me jump, right, we've done that one, done that water. Googly is saying, they always say this, they will keep saying this, nothing happens. In respect to what, Googly? About the people who are working, about the workers who are illegally working. Look, a lot of this money a lot of this money will be sent overseas, guys. It will. A lot of this money gets sent overseas through these, I think they call like MoneyGrams or something. And that gets sent internationally back home to wherever these people, whatever country these people, whatever country they hail from. Oh, we've got Mohammed hailing from Iran. He's been working in the United Kingdom for 6 months. He's got a delivery driver's qualification and he's got his own electric bike. He's sending £500 a week home to his family in Iran, and he is up against Tariq. Tariq hails from the former Soviet Republic of, I don't know, guys. I can't keep going like that. But listen, Googly says we have defence officials that don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, they do, don't they? Look, guys, we do have a country where we have elected officials who know nothing of what they're talking about. I do think when we start to move, I do think when we start to move closer into these things, I think we're going to have to get like a petition going, like a crowdfunder or something. I don't know what yet, but I think we're at a size yet now, guys, where we can do something and have actual meaningful change. And by meaningful change, what I mean is meaningful change to people in the United Kingdom right now. Actual people who are just trying to go about their daily lives. You know, take their kids to school Monday to Friday, come home at the weekend, go to the park, have a barbecue. They're the normal people, guys, okay? They're the people who we should be protecting. Paul Poops is saying, ironic that the bike charities give them out. Yeah, so we've got charities now that give out these electric bikes for free. Silence is saying we have more chance of sabotage in the United Kingdom than we are being invaded. Yeah, Silence, we do indeed. One of the tropes of this channel, I don't know if you're joining for the first time. I know you've just subscribed. And welcome. I hope you feel comfortable, and I hope you feel at home here, which is what I like to make everybody feel when they come to my house. Give them food, give them water, give them a drink, and you just like tend to people. Yeah, so Silence is saying we have more chance of sabotage in the United Kingdom than being invaded. Absolutely. But with invaded, you know, obviously we have got people coming in rubber dinghies. Now, people could say that's an invasion, but I know what you mean. We mean by like boots on the ground. But what we actually have instead is trainers on the ground. Jomase Po is saying, good evening, Sean. Hope you're well. I'm well indeed. It's morning for us and it's evening for you, because I understand you are in the other side of the world. Daniel Payne is saying, I'm ready for war, Raven. Loading Call of Duty now. Gonna get a streak transcending to people in a beam of light streak. Yeah, for most people, this preparing for war is just going to be boring and not having stuff. If they pay them more, that will cause trouble on the streets. Witchy Lab, yeah. So I'm just going to pin this here. So the comment I gave earlier is ministers, politicians now are calling in these delivery companies and they're saying, listen, we've been seeing a lot of stuff, a lot of talk that you guys are employing migrants. And you know what? They'll probably say, no, we're not employing migrants. These are the people we're employing. And then the government are going to have to commission an inquiry. They're going to have to commission an inquiry into it. That inquiry is going to have to go around and look and fact check. And it's going to cost millions. It's going to cost millions, guys, all right? It will come back, the inquiry, and it will say, yeah, they are working illegally. Yeah, they are working illegally. And then the government will say, all right, well, let's get to the root cause of why these migrants are working illegally. Why they're working illegally. And then there'll be another inquiry. It'll cost more millions of pounds. They'll come back and they'll say, because they don't have enough money. And then the government will say, right, well, let's be fair to these migrants. Let's give them more money, because if they're doing illegal things, let's pay them not to do illegal things. So what the migrants will do then is they'll say, oh, thank you very much. They'll take the more money, they'll continue to work, and they'll send even more money overseas, guys. Even more money overseas. Absolutely insane. Look, guys, like with everything, when you start to send money out of the United Kingdom, that is not a good thing, because it seems like it's not much. It doesn't seem like it's going to affect things, but every pound... every pound somebody sends out of the country, so like these Western Unions and I can't think of any others, guys, but like all these cash converters and stuff, these like financial shops that open up, if you go there, I know I've done it myself when I've been stuck places and I've needed people to send me money. you can get money sent internationally. So I would speculate that when these people go to these shops or Western Unions or whatever, and they send money overseas, in fact, it's not even speculation. When you send money overseas, that's money out of our economy. So say that we've got, I don't know, say that we've got £1,000 in the United, the whole of the United Kingdom is operating on £1,000. When £1 a month is going out of the United Kingdom, over time, the economy shrinks because we've got less and less money now in our economy. We've got less and less money for people to spend at shops, people to pay staff, people to pay employees, because that money's going. That money's leaving the country. And at the same time, guys, okay, international investment is exactly the same as that, guys, okay? International investment's exactly the same as that. Daniel Payne, what does he mean about war on our streets? Yeah, we'll come on to that as soon as I've got all these, where did that come from? Right, okay, so this all came from the government are now talking, the government are now saying that the United Kingdom has to actively prepare to fight a potential war on homeland UK. Now this comes from a strategic defence review that was done. And what that said is the likelihood that there will be incidents in the United Kingdom has gone up. Maybe he's been do you know what, guys? Maybe they've just been watching my channel and they've just been seeing what's happening. But, as always, I do think the real threat to the United Kingdom, does come from sabotage, guys. I see it coming from sabotage. I don't really see any other, I don't really see any other way that this can come. Right, I'm just going to jump up and get these comments because they swizzled down again. Witchy Lab is saying if they pay them more, there'll be trouble on the streets. Yeah, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about here subversion and the facts that the United Kingdom is a heavily subverted country. We've already been destabilized, guys, and we are heading into the we've been demoralized. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are being destabilized. And all these things that you can't believe are happening, it's to destabilize people. It's to get people angry. It's to make people mad. So people go out on the streets. So you can have protests. You can have riots. You can have civil unrest. And then after the destabilization phase, that would be the crisis phase. And then you get the new normalization. You get the new normalization phase. I used to think I knew who was doing the subversion, but now I'm not too sure, guys, okay? Silence is saying the Navy and the Coast Guard need to step up their game and protect our shores from the boats. Yeah. So, Keir Starmer, he comes up there and he says, we will protect Britain. We are going to spend money on defence. We are going to protect. I'm like, Keir, mate, nobody's taking you seriously if you can't stop rubber dinghies. Like, nobody's going to take him seriously. We are going to spend billions on the most advanced aircraft carriers and the most devastating aircraft the world has ever seen. But if you come in a rubber dinghy, we're doomed. We're doomed. I mean, let's face it, guys. Let's be honest. The Royal Navy has been defeated by rubber dinghies. And the Royal Air Force has been defeated by an e-scooter. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. By an e-scooter and a can of spray paint. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. Tell me I'm wrong. It wouldn't surprise me if some tank regiment got defeated by one of those little plastic, those plastic little tykes things that you get the kids. They've got they're quite tall, and you get kids that are about 3 to 4, and they've got a yellow roof and red sides and little plastic doors. Wouldn't surprise me if it would not surprise me, guys, if the Challenger 2 tanks were defeated by little tykes. Sharon saying I'm turning into Trump's dropping bad words. Lulz Wells is saying hi. Google is saying I'm never eating from Uber Eats again. Yeah, guys, listen, it wasn't a thing I even thought of. But we know now from mainstream media that ricin. In fact, let me Google what ricin is exactly, because I need to be careful when I'm talking about this, guys. Okay. So ricin is an extremely toxic plant protein derived from seeds of castor beans. It is easily extracted from castor bean meal that remains as a byproduct of castor oil production. So we know that people already in the United Kingdom have the capacity and the will to produce ricin. There are other chemicals out there as well, guys, okay? There's other chemicals out there. There are other things that people can produce. But this one came out onto the mainstream, so I can talk about it. So we already know that's a thing. So, you know, we already know these poisonous things are about there, and we know that people know how to make them. So, you know, it's only a matter of time, I feel, before what Paul Poops has said actually, you know, actually happens. Right, let me jump up, guys. Let me jump up and get the rest of these comments. Morning, everyone. Good morning. Right, I'm just jumping up. Right, doing that, done that one. Right, Cassie is saying UK to buy F-35 stealth jets that can carry nuclear warheads. So the UK already has a fleet of F-35 stealth jets. Now they're saying that they can carry nuclear warheads. I think this is a non-story, guys. I really do. I saw it on the mainstream today that the United Kingdom are pledging to buy more F-35s. Honestly, guys, I think it's a non-story. I really do. I think it's a non-story. And we already have F-35s, and I don't think there's any upgrades that need to be done to those F-35s to let them carry nuclear warheads. Remember, okay, when people think of a nuclear weapon, when people think about... Listen, guys, I'm going to caveat this. If you've not watched my video on why I don't think nuclear weapons are going to be used, I dropped it on YouTube this morning. But we will talk about it because it is out in the mainstream. But when people think about a nuclear weapon, you think about the big rocket and, like, you know, the mast and... Actually, guys, a nuclear weapon can be quite... I'm trying to think of something of relative size. You know, these can be quite small. These can be put into quite small packages because most of that rocket is the delivery method. And if you're using a jet, i.e. an F-35 as a delivery method, then, you know, that's your delivery method. You don't need that big rocket. What I would say, though, is it is a non-story because the United Kingdom already have our own nuclear weapons. We have our own jets, and we can put those, you know, we can put nuclear weapons ourselves into jets. So I do think that is a bit of a non-story. All right, guys, listen, quite a few people here, quite a few people talking about water. One of the tropes of this channel, guys, all right, is get yourselves water, all right? Preparing for stuff, guys, all right? You know, people, we always think in the United Kingdom that we're not going to run out of water. I believe we are, guys, okay? Not everywhere, not all at once, but I do believe that some municipalities, if that's the right word, will have their water turned off. Now, whether that is by sabotage, whether that is by lack of investment, or whether that's just from wear and tear of pipes. I do think places in the United Kingdom will run out of water, and it's always good practice to have water. So we've got Zoe now who was saying there's no water, Witchy Labs saying there was no water in their store, and I think, guys, people are starting to wake up and people are just starting to think, right, we just need to get some water, and I do think that is the main thing, guys, all right? Get yourselves some water. All right, I don't think anyone in the United Kingdom is going to run out of food per se. Yes, you might not be able to get your favourite, you know, extra purple shallots or like your fancy milk or whatever it is like people want. But I don't think we're going to run out of food. I do think there are going to be food shortages. And let me just, you know, the difference there being running out of food will be niente. There's no food and people are starving. Having food shortages just means there's not always the food that you want when you can get it. You know, and listen, guys, I can remember when I used to live in Syria. When I used to live in Syria, I used to have to go to the market with my interpreter like once every, I think it was every Tuesday. I can't remember. I think it was every Tuesday. You know, I went to the market and we had to forage through vegetables, and that was the only time I could get out and get vegetables because obviously me walking around with my limited Arabic in Syria, it's not a good thing, guys, all right? I want to keep this attached to this. So I used to go with my interpreter. And it's crazy how different people in different parts of the world live. Like, I always think like that, here in the West, we have become very weakened by capitalism. You see what I mean by that? We have become weakened by capitalism. So, like, I was in the store the other day, and there was a woman, and she's looking at, I think it was like beef joints or something. And she's picking them up, and she's like really inspecting the sell-by date. She's like really inspecting the sell-by date. And I was thinking, people go on these sell-by dates like far too much. Absolutely far too much. Like, oh no, it says it was sell-by date. Oh no, we can't have that. I'm like, really? Really? Like, smell it. If it smells all right, put it in the oven and eat it, all right? That would be just me, guys. That would be just me. But a lot of people in the United Kingdom are going to struggle because they have been westernized so much into following these things that, people, like realistically, guys, these sell-by dates and these use-by dates. Just imagine this. Right? Imagine the sell-by date is like, I don't know, what date is it today? It's the 25th today, right? All right. So imagine tonight you go downstairs and you're having a little snack. I don't know. You're having a tin of beans or whatever. You're sat there, you're eating your tin of beans, but the sell-by date on your tin of beans, it ends tomorrow. So 25th is the last, used before the 25th. So you're eating it at 1 minute to midnight. What do you think is going to happen to you if you have another bite after midnight? Do you think you're going to turn into stone? Do you think you're going to turn into a green goblin? No, you're not. Of course not. It gets me so annoyed, guys, when I see people throwing things away because of a little number on the side of that tin. But anyway, that's just me, guys. That's just me. I will eat pretty much anything to my detriment sometimes. Priv Caro is saying there is an American woman, stay away from me. An American woman prepper who knows so much. Is it okay if I share her name on TikTok? Yeah, share what you want, Priv Caro. Listen, guys, I see all these preppers and stuff. I do. I've been watching a few of the channels, and I'm thinking, wow. Listen, I'm more of the person who will turn up last minute with minimum kit and just cuff it on the day. So, I wouldn't class myself as like an actual prepper or something, because I'm certainly not. I would just turn up on the day and try and cuff it and improvise, adapt and overcome as much as I can. But saying that, and I have put but in a sentence, I do think it's important for everyone to have some sort of security in their home. By security, I mean food security and water security. If you need to focus on anything, guys, okay, focus on water security. Zelensky seeking more assistance. Trainers on the Silence is saying trainers on the ground would be a nice t-shirt idea. It would, wouldn't it? Trainers on the ground. So a man's been struck by lightning in Florida, and he's transcended to a beam of light. Tear gas used in Kenya as police battle young protesters. Gemini Blessing is saying good morning all. Excuse me. I'm just jumping down here, guys, and getting these comments. Mum's Life Giver is saying, morning, what have I missed? Right, guys, listen, I started this live stream, and I wanted the crux of this live stream to be the news that is going around, the news that the United Kingdom is preparing to fight a full-on war. And the United Kingdom have to prepare a homeland. Now, one of the things I'm saying here is, you guys have got to remember the 2019, 2020, 2021 times where things are being said to local councils and they're not looking at them objectively. And I think this is going to happen again this time, guys, okay? So we would be dictated. You're too funny this morning, Raven. You're funny this morning. A lot of funny faces. I don't know what I've said, guys. I don't know what I've said. But we've got this scenario now, again, and like where the United Kingdom is actively preparing for a conflict, but the people who are preparing don't know how to prepare for a conflict. You see where we're going here, guys? You see where we're going? Because local government, local council, they've never, like, and again, listen, most people in local government, in local council, have never had real jobs. They've not. They've always been in a committee, on a think tank, you know, a cherished pastor or something, and they don't know what the real world is like. They don't know struggles. They don't know that people have got to empty the bins, you know. People have got to get the kids to school. People have got to put fuel in the cars. They don't think about that. All they do is what the government tell them. And in that scenario where you're devolving a lot of this... where you're devolving a lot of this authority to people who have no idea, guys, okay? And that is like, that's kind of the, you know, because at government level, like, I mean, like at main government level now, you have like advisors behind the scenes. You will have strategic analysts, like, for example, Dominic Cummings. Obviously, he's not working there, but you'll have people behind the scenes there. At council level, you don't have any advisors. You literally have the blind leading the blind. And normally, the person who's in charge is the person who's been there the longest. And you can see where problems start to arise here, can't you guys, okay? That person's in charge, not because they're better, not because they've been promoted, just because they've been there the longest. So you see how these things can, like, at local level, you see how these things at local level can, what's the word I'm looking for, how do I put this? At local level, how the fabric of this can fall apart. Right, guys, government have just bought 12 jets that can carry nuclear warheads. Can't stop a dinghy. Yeah, we was talking about that earlier, wasn't we? But again, Paul Poops is saying this is about the F-35s. Again, I think this is a non-story, guys, okay? I think this is a non-story, or it's been blown out of proportion, because we already have F-35s. We already have our own nuclear weapons that can be put on... what's the word? I can't read the Typhoon. That can already be put on the Typhoon. And I would also say maybe air launching nuclear weapons is not the way to go. Maybe you know, and I do think the deterrent having them in the sea is better because you don't know where their submarines are, and you can put those submarines wherever you want, and those submarines don't need to go anywhere for refueling. Yeah, Debbie Doobs, you're right. Google it is saying Sadiq leads Labour revolt against Starmer's benefit cuts that will destroy the financial safety net. What do we think about that, guys? What do we think about the benefits cuts that are being given? Do we think there's more people in the United Kingdom claiming benefits, claiming sick pay than are actually sick? And again, this is one of those scenarios, isn't it, where if you're genuinely sick in the United Kingdom, you would expect, you know, that, like, you, and I would, as a, you know, as a taxpayer, I would be happy for my money to go and support veterans who've been, been injured in a conflict. You know, genuinely support people that are genuinely sick. Now, there was some statistics from. I gave you guys some statistics from some of the places in northwest Yorkshire about how many people were actually claiming benefits, and I don't know, guys. Maybe people are just maybe people are genuinely sick in that part of the world and they've got problems with them, or maybe some people from different parts of the world just want to claim benefits, just want to claim the sick, and they don't actually want to contribute to anything. Look, I love contributing. I love creating stuff. I love building stuff. You know, all that sort of stuff I enjoy doing, and I couldn't imagine my life without having that creative input, building stuff, designing stuff, helping stuff, working on projects. I genuinely couldn't imagine my life without that. To that end, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to cut this live stream at 1 hour exactly, because I've got some... I've got some work to do, and they're expecting me on a phone call at 11. Morning, everyone. What have I missed? Says G Prophet. Right, guys, listen. All this. I'm going to download this live stream and put it on and put this on YouTube because we are only, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we are single streaming this evening. We are single streaming. Witchy Lab is saying even if we were supplied with some water in emergency, it wouldn't be enough. So the government. The water companies, actually, not the government. So the water companies, as part of their contract, if they cannot supply you with water, they have to provide 10 litres of water per person per day. That's what they're contracted to do, guys, now. Okay, so let me ask you this scenario. Let's say Newcastle Water. Let's say Devon Water, for example, because it did go down there like last year. Let's say Devon Water, they're like, right, we can't give you this water, it's not safe, we're turning all the water off. Right, okay. Devon Water come out and they've got like they've got stand pipes, they've got masses of water, they're giving people bottles of water, they're fulfilling their contract. Right, good, well done, Devon Water. Okay. Thames Water, right, okay, Thames Water's gone down, right? Thames Water are struggling now because, you know, there's only so many water bottles in the country, there's only so much water that they can draw to give people. Right, okay, Thames Water. What if Yorkshire Water goes down as well? What if there is a coordinated water attack? I know that doesn't sound very exciting, does it, guys? It doesn't sound very exciting. A water attack. Oh, we're not going to bother about that. We want to focus on nuclear weapons and biological weapons and ballistic missiles and, you know, and lasers. But guys, listen, trust me when I'm saying this, beyond reasonable doubt, beyond any doubt, a coordinated water strike on the United Kingdom would cost pennies. It wouldn't cost pennies. It would cost like a couple of grand. It would cost a couple of grand, guys, basically. It would. Like, just think how easy it is, guys, all right? Right, let's just pretend, for example, that there are already saboteurs in the United Kingdom. Let's just pretend. I know that's wild conspiracy. That's wild conspiracy. You can't say that, Sean. You can't say that, but let's just pretend. Let's just pretend they're in various hotels around the country. I don't know if they are or not, but let's just pretend. Let's just pretend there are saboteurs all over the United Kingdom in various hotels. Let's just say let's just say on Armed Forces Day or something. I would speculate they would wait until the summer. Let's just say at some point at a day, 4th of July, whenever, let's just say at a day, all these guys independently go out and they find pre-identified water pipes. I know where the water pipes are where I live, guys. You know, I know where they are. They're exposed, some of them. They go into these water pipes. They've got a DeWalt drill, a big steel drill bit, and they just start drilling holes into that water pipe until that water pipe's gone. All over the country at the same time. Or even worse, guys, they start pouring ricin into it. Or pour ricin into reservoirs so the reservoir's contaminated. All these things can be easily achieved, guys, okay? Easily achieved. Like, how much is it going to cost for someone to go over and drill some holes in a water pipe? Next to nothing. These are the things that are going to affect everyone, guys, all right? Not the big missiles coming over. I know everybody wants to talk about those big missiles and nuclear bombs and all the rest of it. That's not going to happen, guys. These are the real things that are going to happen. But fortunately, these are the things that we can all prepare against. So, ladies and gentlemen, go and get yourself some water. 3 litres of water per person per day. Right, let me jump down. Thing is, panic buying makes food shortages worse, says Debbie Doobs. Yes, it does. And this is why I'm telling people now to go and get stuff now. Go and get whatever you guys need, guys, okay? Go and get your stuff now while there's no panic buying, because it is. People panic buy, people see other people panic buying, and then people buy that stuff as well. Water delivery every 2 weeks. I have 2 large cupboards full. People laugh at me. Yeah, as long as you've got water, guys, okay? I would aim, myself... If I had nothing, the first thing I would try and do is try and get myself enough water to drink for 3 days, guys. All right, that's going to cost you like £3.60. It's going to cost you £3.60 per person. Isn't that worth the investment, guys? £3.60 per person. Witchy Lab, which we import so much food, our choices will be limited. I do think the choices will be massively limited. They need a rationing system if it comes to that. I eat past you, sell by date, said Debbie Do, well done. Hit the reduction section, freeze most of the things like... Yeah, I always freeze things, guys. My freezer is full of frozen stuff. What a ridiculous question. What a ridiculous comment. My freezer is full of frozen stuff. What I mean is, we have got a freezer that is just specifically for, you know, stuff that we don't really use. It's just full of, like, stuff we get and we get at a deal. Mum's live giveaway saying, I can't stand food waste. Tina is saying, I actually do that with eggs. They're a couple of days out of date. I throw them. The butcher said I'm crazy. Yeah, guys, and people throw a lot of food away. People throw a lot of food away when it's unnecessary. Rachel Samantha, do you think blackouts are coming in summer? Makes more sense in winter. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do you know what, Rachel Samantha? Well done, yeah. So, I do think blackouts are coming. Like Rachel Samantha is saying there, if we look what's been happening in Ukraine, for example, when the weather starts to get cold, that's when the energy infrastructure has been targeted. So it makes no sense. It makes no real sense when you're thinking about these missions, guys, and you're thinking about these operations. You've got to maximize the effectiveness of them. So in the summer, you would think to target the water supplies, water supplies and stuff, things that people are going to be using in the summer. When the months start to get colder, i.e. wintertime in the United Kingdom, but again, you know, it never really gets that cold in the UK anyway. But when the weather starts to get colder, that's when targeting substations more frequently would have a greater desired effect, because as more people turn the electricity on to heat their houses or their gas or whatever, that's when it's going to have more of an effect. Right, I'm just jumping up and getting these comments, guys. Any thoughts on... Yeah, Tyler Evans. So a lot of people are talking about this, guys. So the UK buying 12 F-35s. I think they're F-35... I think they're the UK, the only country who run the F-35 Charlie, which is the one that has been cleared for landing on aircraft carriers. I'm not too sure with that, guys. But anyway, the news is Tyler Evans is saying, what's my thoughts on the UK buying the F-35s? I think it's a non-story, guys. Honestly, I do. I think it's a non-story. We already have F-35s. Now, they're saying that these particular F-35s can carry nuclear weapons. Well, guys, listen, I'm pretty convinced that all F-35s can carry nuclear weapons. I'm pretty convinced that all current jets that the UK stock can carry nuclear weapons. So I don't think it's a story, guys. I really don't think it's a story. I just think it's like, you know, I think it's just people wanting to make news and wanting to make things sound more ominous than they are. Priv Caro is saying, look up Charming Frugal, I think. She is often live, answers most questions on water and food prepping. Right, okay, Charming Frugal. My dog is listening, Sean. He wants to know if he needs to prepare too. Yes, tell your dog, April, that your dog needs to get ready to, like, carry weight. Like, get a little backpack for your dog when you're going out walking, and starting with, like, a couple of cans of pop, then a couple of bottles of water. Because listen, dogs can carry stuff too. So if you have to travel a long distance, make sure your dog is carrying some weight. I know in the military dogs, they have a little ops vest on, and they carry little bits of kit. Four paws, great, we made it to 50,000. We did indeed. Thank you, Sean. Great live again. I had a stream running through my garden. Gonna bottle it. Delboss. Oh, Debbie Dooves, you've got a stream running through your garden. That is fantastic. Listen, one of the things we looked at when we bought our house, I wanted it to be near a water supply, ideally with its own water supply. We wanted it to be defendable, and we wanted it to be flood-proof. Unfortunately, you can't have something that's flood-proof and has its own water supply. So I think we're about maybe 500 meters from a very small stream, so it's dried up at the moment. But that stream only gets that stream only materializes when it's been heavily raining. There's no rain at the moment. The nearest water supply to us is 1 kilometer away. But again, you know, a kilometer, I'd be happy to drive 1 kilometer and bottle water at that reservoir, then come home and process that water myself. But yeah, Debbie Doob's got a stream running through her garden. Fantastic. Googly saying, grab your toilet rolls. Mum's Life is saying, as long as I can watch Stranger Things season 5, I can handle anything. Yeah, they've been pushing us, haven't they, for season 5 of Stranger Things, guys. It's like, honestly, season 4 Stranger Things, that's up there for me, guys, with like, I don't know if it's up there with Lord of the Rings, but it's certainly up there in my top 5 things that have ever been created to watch. We did this week buy 15 bags of wood for the winter. Now, Priv Caro, have you worked out how long 15 bags of wood will last you? May Bateman is saying, if we have power cuts, all your frozen food will defrost. Yes, it will, May Bateman. It will all defrost. They are like stealth jets. I think we're talking, Google is saying, I think we're talking about the F-35s. Look, guys, okay, I do not believe in, I don't think there's any such, realistically, guys, there's no such thing as stealth. You can spot these aircraft with your eyes. The B-2 stealth bomber, to me, that is the only thing that does resemble stealth. Your F-22, your F-35, if they go over a certain speed, that stealth coating starts to deteriorate. So you have to be traveling under a certain speed for that stealth to be active. Right, guys, listen, I'm over. It's 11. It's 1 minute past 11, guys. It's 1 minute past 11. Thank you, guys. I do need to be going now, guys. I do need to be going. Right, guys, listen, I will be back on at 8 o'clock tonight. Make sure you like and you follow, subscribe, all those things that help the channel grow. For the people who subscribed today, thank you so much, guys, for subscribing. I know we had to cut this short today, guys, but I have got work stuff to do. I'm 1 minute late. I need to be on a group chat. But I will see you guys later. This video will be uploaded to YouTube, guys, right? I'll see you later. I'll be back on at 8. Do not be late.